Hello everyone and welcome to Traveling with Françoise. I am Françoise Rhodes, your host, and it's a very mixed emotion show. I hope you joined us for Coachella Valley Live, What's Happening in Coachella Valley with Craig Campbell. If you haven't been to the website, CoachellaValley.com, you want to go. For all of you that are thinking about visiting the Coachella Valley or have been there or want to know what's going on in the Coachella Valley from afar, we are in our desert community. It is beautiful outside. The skies are blue. We have snow on top of the mountains. It's supposed to be in the low 80s today. I don't know if it's quite going to make it, but for us, our normal temperature around this time of the year is about 78, 77. It's wonderful because a lot of you are already getting blasted with snow. So I was telling Craig in the live What's Happening in Coachella Valley show that I was really torn today coming on the air to do the travel show. I'm torn because I don't even, should we travel? Should we not travel? If you are traveling, you have to be really aware of your surroundings and what you might be bringing into somebody else's community, whether you know you have something or not. I mean, it is really, really tricky out there. We have an advisory for Californians. We have advisory for actually people coming into California to quarantine for 14 days. You have to ask yourself, I mean, and be honest with yourself, would you really self-quarantine for 14 days? You're on vacation and you're going somewhere. I mean, really, would you? That's a tough call because that's 14 days of self-quarantine is very expensive. So again, like I said, I was kind of torn because I don't want to promote travel, but yet I want to promote travel because I love to travel and I love to get out there and see things. And there are safe ways to travel out there, and hotels are being very safe. RVs, airlines are all being very safe, but it's once you get in those areas where it becomes crowded with people that you really need to watch out for yourself and you watch out for the other people around you. So anyway, like I say, it was torn. It's such a tough call right now. I see people coming into Borrego. I see people coming into the Coachella Valley from different states actually bringing the virus with them, unbeknownst to them, I truly feel. But they find out the testing is so much easier here in the Coachella Valley that it's easier to go get a test, so they do, and find out that they've had it. So, and I'm seeing that in different communities where there wasn't any cases, and now perhaps there are. So part of me wants to say everybody should stay in their own state. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's what part of me wants to say. But the travel bug part of me, the one that wants to go out there and see things and do things, says, okay, I can travel, but I can travel safely. So we'll talk a little bit about some positive things that actually are going on in the world of travel. I have some news from AAA, what they're forecasting for this Thanksgiving holiday season, which again is just so confusing for everyone. They keep making the restrictions tighter and tighter, and they're finding that so many families are giving it to families, the virus. So that's not a good thing either. But they do have statistics out. We'll talk about those. We'll talk about how actually you can be a volunteer of the seas and be one of the first people to be on test sails on cruise ships. Yes, to see if they're doing their job and how they are prepared to fight the virus. Talk about that. That might be something. You might want to go on a cruise. This might be the perfect way to do it. I've actually thought about doing it. And some other news out there. Not a whole ton of news today. We're not going to make this a really long show. But we also have top 7 COVID travel insurance tips for the holiday season, which I found really interesting. I cut them way down so they're not real long, but things that you might not know, might want to be aware of. But first I'm going to start out with a little piece that was in the Desert Sun about Borrego Springs. Our Gaeta Meadows were the sculptures. This was during an art. All of it, they don't have that wrapped around them. That was an art installation that an artist took one of the sculptures and wrapped it with purple material, and I'm not sure what the meaning of all that was, but anyway, but our Gaeta Meadows statues are open, and there's over 100 of them spread out through Borrego Springs, the valley there, and we're home to the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. So it's a great way to come out for a day trip. You can look at the sculptures, you can drive up to them, you can get out and walk to them. Some you have to drive a little ways back into the desert to get to them. You can see them from all different angles. They are very, very interesting. They're huge. We have a big dragon that's gigantic that goes from one side of the street to the other. But if you are looking to do something that's kind of fun, kind of quirky, Goleta Meadows, Sky Art Sculptures, and Borrego Springs is something for you to do. Yeah, you might want to do that. Check it out. And they are open to the public. We just in San Diego County went into backwards into the purple tier. So the restaurants only have outdoor dining, a lot of patio seating out there. The resorts are open with limited capacities. Stores are open, but again, dining is outside. We have a lot of RV parks. We have a 5-star RV resort out there. So just a thought. We have a lot of ATVers, recreational vehicle people out in the Ocotillo Wells region and stuff. So, all right, other news, other info in the world of travel. Travel at 600 miles per hour in a tube. Would you do it? Yeah, Virgin Galactic, Branson, he's at it again, and he has this tube that he made. They showed it on television. Very cool. They were testing it, and that's going to get rid of a lot of the problems with cars and air emission and all that sort of stuff. But this train that's going to be in this tube that will run for, across the United States is a vacuum tube. And let's see, they're talking about reaching speeds of 1,000 kilometers per hour or 621 miles per hour. And they want to have 28-person pods. Would you ride in one? I would ride in one. Why not? I mean, you're going to be going that fast. Just think of the time it's going to cut down. You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to, they say at those speeds, it would be traveling at about the same rate as a commercial jet, but with no greenhouse gas emissions, which contribute to the climate change. So just think about that. Of course, there'll be millions of dollars to build this thing. It's in the first stage, but that is the way of the world. But I still think we're going to get to the Jetsons stage. Remember the Jetsons, where we were all flying around in these flying cars. That's where I think we'll get. I think the tube will be awesome, but I do think we will have cars that just lift up and fly us from place to place. It'll happen. I don't know if we'll all be here when it happens, but I think in some day and age it will happen. Well, I am Françoise Rhodes, and you are listening to Traveling with Françoise. Was on the radio for about 18 years and transitioned over to the live Facebook show thanks to Craig Campbell and all that he does with live what's happening in Coachella Valley. Today's California, today's Canada. He has all these different sites. So again, we welcome you into our world, and our world is based right here in the Coachella Valley, California. Palm Desert, right now we're in Palm Desert, which is in the Coachella Valley, which is in California, which is also where the Coachella Fest happens, and Stagecoach. All of that was happening down here, and the BMP, Paribas Open, was happening down here, and the film festival. So many things that normally go on. Of course, this year, everything's canceled. But in fact, the film festival has been canceled for next year. They are going to have Modernism Week, though. So it's kind of going to be hit or miss, but a lot of these big events, they have to plan so far in advance that they can't schedule them, taking the chance if they can be open or not reopen. And that's why a lot of times they're canceling so far in advance, and you wonder, why did they cancel that big event? Because of the planning that goes into it. All right, travel news. And we do have some positive news, believe it or not, from Visit California, the ultimate promoter of California. It's important, they say, to note that hotels remain open for leisure travel, so hotels are open, just as they have been in most countries since June 12th. Most counties, since June 12th. Many Californians who plan to leave the state for the holidays likely will alter their plans and travel in California instead. So that's what they're predicting. Instead of you leaving California to go out of state for the holidays, you are going to either meet people here in California, go find a secluded place for your family in California, go on little drives instead, but you're going to stay within the state now. You're not quite so interested in traveling out of state. They say the advisory recommends Californians returning to the state after non-essential travel to quarantine for 14 days upon return to minimize the threat of circulating the virus in the state. So what they're asking you is, if you do go out of state, when you come back, to actually quarantine for 14 days. That's what they're asking. The choice is yours. AAA says that AAA forecasts some 47.8 million travelers will travel by car this year, down 4.3% from last year. Remember, last year broke all records. Roughly 2.4 million are expected to travel by air, which is down 47.5% from last year. So 4.6 million air travelers. Only 353,000 travelers are expected to use other modes of transportation like trains, buses, and cruises, which is down 76%. Those who do drive, though, will enjoy lower gas prices, which is good. Down nationally, an average of 50 cents compared with this time last year. I have noticed it, the gas at the pump. Of course, one thing when you go to communities like ours, which are tourism-driven communities, and especially when we have seasons, we have our snowbirds coming in for the next 6 months. We have we're not year-round. You will see as soon as we know our tourism is coming back to life here, that prices go up. In the grocery stores, everywhere, prices go up. So those of us who live here year-round, we pretty much know when they have it figured out that you're going to be coming back in, because we see all the prices go up everywhere. So knowing that the gas prices are down, that's always nice to see. October's average gas prices were the lowest they've been in more than 15 years. So again, October's average gas prices, the lowest they've been in more than 15 years. In fact, I know a whole family that California natives are up and moving to Tennessee, where they say gas is $1.70 a gallon, something like that. Yeah, so people are moving in and out of California. Right now, it's a strange trends going on out there. All right, let's talk about cruising. Royal Caribbean International is inviting its past guests the opportunity to apply to be on test sailings that the CDC is requiring that cruise ships perform before being certified to enter service. So if you've been on Royal Caribbean before, you're a past cruiser with them, go to Volunteer of the Seas. Again, that's Volunteer of the Seas. That's a website. And they will ask you to put in a little bit of information, and you will sign up, and then they take it from there. It's adults only, 18 years or older will be able to sail, but just think, I would do this test sailing. Do you know how clean that cruise ship is going to be? And they won't have full capacity. So again, if you're interested and if you've been on Royal Caribbean cruises before, go to Volunteer of the Seas. And again, these are test sailings to be certified by the CDC for their regular sailings. So again, that's Volunteer of the Seas. Check it out. I'm sure other cruise lines, they're all going to have to do this. So there's an opportunity for you to cruise out there, and probably at such a minimal cost. You might just have to fly yourself out there. I don't know all the specifics yet, because they really didn't give all the specifics, but go to the website and just start the process. You can always not do it, but start the process and then see if it might be something for you. Asuka 2, the largest cruise ship in Japan, owned by NYK Cruises, resumed short sailings on November 2nd. Following the Asuka 2 COVID-19 prevention plan, it will conduct short cruises starting mainly from Yokohama. So there you go. The cruise ships are coming back. Yes, Mr. Craig, is all well?
Everything's perfect.
Everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're back there. So I think, wouldn't it be fun to be a volunteer going a test cruise? Wouldn't that? Sign up and you be the guinea pig to see if everything's clean like it's supposed to be.
Take the COVID vaccine.
There you go.
Be a part of that study, and they send you on a cruise ship. I like it. I'm signing up as we speak.
Okay, Volunteer of the Seas. Go to that. All right. Now, if you have $1 million or two sitting around, any of you out there have $1 million or two? Well, I don't. How about a trip for all of your best friends at the Hyatt Regency Maui, who recently created a buyout package? The buyout package of the entire resort, 810 room property, starts at $1.5 million. Not a bad deal. Buy out the whole resort for you and your best friends. 810 rooms.
And then you can socially distance.
Yeah, right. Socially distance. The buyout, you can do a partial buyout also if you want. But I think if you have that kind of money to begin with, you'd probably just want to buy out the entire resort. How soon will it be before other resorts are doing the same thing? I think it's brilliant. And some of these little boutique hotels, think of some of those smaller hotels that have only 10 rooms. These little boutique places that are just out in the middle of nowhere. You just buy out the whole place for your family. All have your own separate rooms, separate everything. I think it's brilliant. Why did it take so long for someone to figure this out? The Hyatt Regency did. So see more of this coming. But again, it's a new world out there in the world of travel. It ended. Okay, well, whoever it was that was, sorry we missed you. Yes. Atlantis Paradise Island reopening in December, with the Baha Mar complex also set to resume operations. The two largest resorts in the Bahamas will be open for the holiday season. So there are resorts that are opening. There are a lot of changes out there. That is his phone again, making all that noise. I apologize, but hey, this is live. Your phone just rang, by the way.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, your phone rang and it buzzed, and also this one, I think.
Oh, great. Oh, it's that one.
I think it was that one. I don't know.
Welcome to Live. Here we are, traveling with Françoise in Palm Springs. Oh, I'm wondering who called. Now I'm curious.
I don't know. I missed one of them anyway. I thought it was that one. All right. So we have some things opening. We have some new ideas out there. So again, you can rent out an entire resort, or you can go to, say, someone in the Bahamas. They are opening up. So things are opening, but of course there's a lot of restrictions out there. So you will have to find out before you go somewhere what the restrictions are. That's the best way to do it. Don't get there and be surprised. Maybe the worst thing, you go somewhere and then they say, well, sorry, you have to stay in your room for a week, but you have to pay for staying in your room because we're not giving it to you for free. And so you have to do your due diligence. Traveling isn't as easy as it used to be, by far.
Even getting to restaurants, you know, you don't know whether you need to call them ahead of time. You don't know if they've added new seats, because a lot of places seem to be, expanding, you know, where they used to have 3 seats outdoors. Now they have, they built outdoor facilities. You don't know. Some take reservations, some don't. Some require masks until food comes. Some require masks until water comes. Some require masks until you're sat. Easiest way to figure it out is to simply ask. It's a little stressful, and if you're willing to do it, it's worth it every single time.
And now, really, as much as we love you doing so many things on your phone, even a lot of these places do not update quickly enough because their staff has been cut down. So you look at something and it says open, and you think, wow, they are open, and you get there and they're closed. I really recommend that a lot of you pick up the phone. If you have any doubt in your mind, make that phone call, because I see it all the time now that businesses have not updated their Google pages, their websites. They forget, everything changes so quickly. So you're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive in finding out information. Any doubt in your mind about anywhere that you're going, call and find out. Ask them. Ask, because it's not going to be all posted online. All right, top 7 COVID travel insurance tips for the holiday season. Okay, I found these actually interesting because I know insurance is kind of boring, but when you're traveling, these are some ideas that I hadn't even thought about. Some terms that I had never even heard before. The first one is check any travel barriers beforehand. Before buying an insurance policy, check travel restrictions to the country or place of destination. Again, we just talked about that. Know about their quarantines. Know about their travel bans. I mean, don't buy tickets to a place that you're not even going to be allowed in. I mean, people were just still lax in so many ways because we're just not used to all this. We're not used to all this. Okay, make sure your travel insurance policy covers COVID-19. Remember when all this happened, COVID-19 was not in your insurance package because we didn't even know what it was. But now they are. Until recently, most insurance companies excluded pandemics from their coverage. Consequently, it's critical to find a plan that covers medical expenses that arise due to COVID, as well as medical evacuation. Remember that. So find out about, does your policy cover COVID-19 and medical evacuation, something we have not had to deal with, frankly, in my lifetime. All right, don't go for the cancel any reason route. That used to be the big number one. People would buy that one for any reason. They canceled, they'd get their money back. They say be careful about going overboard with too much travel insurance over the holidays, because most airlines offering cancelable tickets, you can cancel at any time, and very flexible hotel cancel policies. You'll rarely need to purchase a cancel for any reason insurance upgrade anymore because of the state of the industry right now. They are trying to make it as easy as possible for you to cancel. That's the only way basically they can keep their doors open, because that's the number one question. What if I have to cancel? Can I get my money back? So don't buy more insurance than what you need. Save the money so when you have to be quarantined for a couple days, you can use it there. Take prudent healthcare precautions. Holiday travelers should purchase travel medical insurance when traveling to somewhere outside the scope of their normal health insurance. And we're seeing that with our Canadian friends coming to the Coachella Valley. They are paying triple the cost of medical insurance to come down here. Many of them will not come because of this humongous expense to cover the virus to come to our desert, Arizona, any of the hot spots that they do go to get away from the snow. So there's going to be these extra policies are going to be and are very, very expensive. Yes.
Yes, Graham from Scotland,
hey, Graham.
Our sister station out there in Scotland, says $5.25 a gallon in Scotland. Do enjoy your United States gasoline prices.
So I was at Valero the other day, and it was with my card. It was $2.99. So I'm thinking, what's gas? Average gas is in California. It's got to be close to $3, I think, somewhere in there.
$5.25 in Scotland. If you want to go visit Mr. Is it Chappelle?
I say that, but I think it's Chapel.
Chapel.
I think I mess it up every single time. Yeah.
Well, we have a comedian here.
Will he let us come over
Chappelle.
there? Will he let us stay at his house?
I'll ask him.
You know, Graham, can we stay with you? You and Carter. All right. Explore short-term travel insurance options. If you're purchasing travel insurance during Thanksgiving and Christmas, short-term policies can be a good idea. So remember, check it out too. There's a lot of places that will cancel, boom, 24 hours easy. You don't want to go at the last minute. So don't overbuy on travel insurance. Okay, look into risk mitigation. Take a proactive travel insurance strategy plan and build an individual threat assessment plan before you leave, especially if you are flying into a foreign country. Yeah, a lot of it is, common sense. Make sure you check out the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines for hotel safety, especially when destination-specific COVID-19 information out there. So find out what the hotels are doing where you're going to stay. And consider medical evacuation insurance. I had never even heard of this one. Checking into medical evacuation insurance along with a supplemental addition for medical emergency services can be invaluable in the event of a serious accident or illness away from home. They say most travelers don't understand that medical evacuation insurance will usually cover the evacuation to a suitable hospital for treatment. I have never heard of that insurance, medical evacuation insurance, but I'm going to keep all these just in case, because I said earlier, the world has changed, and so is the way we travel. All right, ACT though, they are having some day trips on buses, but the buses are limited to 25 people, and they have coming up the Salton Sea and San Andreas Fault. They went to LA. They have the Wolf Mountain Sanctuary. They're going to San Diego for the Midway or Balboa Park. So they do have some trips coming up with ACT tours. They're like putting their toes, you know how you dip your feet in the water and see what happens and see how receptive everyone is. Like I say, limit to 25 people on these huge buses. I'm sure the buses are just thrilled to get those moving anywhere, get them out somewhere. So if you want more information, go to act-tours.com. Check it out and see what they have coming up. And like I say, they're doing everything they can to get you out of the house, even if it's for a day, with safety precautions in hand. Yeah, stuff happens. So act-tours.com. Steve, Tina, and Lalo, they're working hard. This is also, can you imagine what it's like being in the travel, your business is in the travel industry right now? Buses, it goes on and on and on. Buses, cabs, Bellmans aren't supposed to touch luggage anymore. Housekeeping, what they have to go through to clean through. It's crazy out there, but we are going to get through all this. All right, I want to thank all our sponsors. Mike Thompson's RV, they're still doing phenomenal, selling tons of RVs out there. VW of Palm Springs, I'm going to go check out some new Tiguans. I decided. Diane Williams and Associates, we are selling homes crazy big time here in the Coachella Valley. Indian Ridge Country Club, a beautiful place. Borrego Springs Resort and Spa, they are open for business. A1 Custom Golf Cars, Desert Battery. ACT Tours, Dana Wharf whale watching. Again, Dana Wharf, go whale watching. They have limited capacity on their boats. Very, very limited, but it's still, the ocean is still just as beautiful as it's always been. And the animals are out there, and they don't have any clue what's going on with all this COVID virus. So they're still doing their thing. So go out for a day, get out in that fresh ocean air, and go on a whale watching excursion with Dana Wharf whale watching. And what Dana Wharf itself is so beautiful. Good reason to go for a day trip. Cabot's Pueblo Museum, they have events going on outside. Check it out. Go to their website. Johannes Restaurant, he has his new big outdoor patio seating area for you to enjoy. Remember, they are closed Monday and Tuesday. Arcatire, for all of your embroidery needs. If you're coming up, you're sitting there home thinking of t-shirts and stuff that you want to make with sayings on them, call Arcatire. And I think that's everybody. And I think that's it for me today. I appreciate you joining in. Who knows where we'll be next week? We never know where we'll be each week. We try to bring some, facts, fun information into your world. Just break it up, give you something to think about and consider. So be safe out there, wear your mask, use your common sense, try to enjoy yourself, and remember, it's never too late to get a life. See you next time. Bye.